helping matters. "Here to babysit me?" she asked.
"Who said anything about babysitters?"
Dag was always quick with a smile, though his eyes betrayed him that morning.
"We're just a bunch of friends going out together."
"You make it sound like we're going to a bar," Mae said. She walked back to the mirror and examined the braided bun she'd so painstakingly worked on. Grimacing, she pulled out the hairpins and began unraveling it all. Val made herself comfortable on the arm of the couch, lazy and limber as a cat, even under these circumstances. "What are you doing?" "It's messy," Mae said. "There wasn't a hair out of place," protested Val. Mae didn't answer. In the mirror, she saw her friends exchange troubled glances behind her. "It's worse than I thought," Val seemed to be saying. Dag's expression said he was in agreement, but didn't entirely know how to handle it. Snapping a neck, lifting weights, donut-eating contests, those were in his comfort zone. Therapy? Less so. It wasn't part of Val's skill set either. Neither knew quite what to do with Mae, and she certainly wasn't going to help them out, because she didn't want them to do anything. She wanted them to treat her in their usual flippant way. And what she wanted most was for this day to be over, so that life could return to normal. "How many times have you braided it today?" Val's voice was uncharacteristically gentle. "It's not right," Mae said, dodging the question. This was actually the 8th time she'd braided her hair. She kept pulling so tightly that her scalp had started to turn red, though the tiny metal implant in her arm dutifully dulled the pain. "You wouldn't understand." Neither Val nor Dag ever had hair problems. Dag always kept his dark hair closely shaved, and Val wore hers in a pixie cut that suited her diminutive frame. I should cut mine, Mae thought. She'd considered it 100 times, but could never bring herself to do it.
"It's okay, you know. Grief is a normal part of the, process."
Dag had apparently been reading self-help books before coming over.
"You can even cry."
"Why would I do that?" Mae pulled so hard on a strand of hair that she winced. "Because that's what people do when they lose someone they care about," said Val. "You're so tightly wound up that you'll explode if you don't relax. And do not undo that. It's fine." Mae had just finished her hair again, neatly wrapping the braid into a perfect knot above the back of her neck. She really was on the verge of pulling it out again when Val grabbed her arm. "Enough, Mae. We're going to be late." It was another bad sign, Val using her real name instead of her pet name Finn. But Mae couldn't deny her friend's point. It was time to go. With one last glance in the mirror, she let them lead her outside to the subway entrance across the street. They took the blue line out to the base, earning a number of startled looks from other passengers. Praetorians weren't that common outside of military and federal centers. A group of them was especially unusual. The passengers kept their distance and glanced around the train uneasily, wondering if they should expect a terrorist attack. The threesome ended up reaching the base early, but plenty of other Praetorians were already entering the ceremonial hall. And here, Mae faltered, stopping just outside the entrance. The spring sunshine was far too bright and cheery for a day like today. Dag touched her arm.
"You okay?"
"You don't have to go," Val told her. Mae saluted the flag overhead and continued forward to the hand scanner. "Everything's fine." Neat rows of chairs filled the hall, which was nearly packed with Praetorians. The news had come in less than a week ago, and it would have taken a fair amount of scrambling to pull so many of the guard back in from their scattered assignments. Some wouldn't be here, of course. It was the nature of the job. But the death of a Praetorian was so monumental that their superiors would have certainly done whatever they could to ensure a good showing. Although there was no official seating chart, the Praetorians were gathering in cohorts. Val waved at someone across the room. The Scarlets had already taken a middle position and were beckoning them over. Val and Dag started to head in that direction, but Mae stopped again, allowing her eyes to focus on the front of the hall. There'd been no body to recover, but they'd still set out a casket made of a dark, gleaming wood. Praetorian black. A swath of indigo silk covered it, with the ruinous flag draped over that. Piles of gardenia sat on either side, their softness contrasting with the clean lines of the casket.